Well, I'm very excited about this video. We already have two fundamental coding building blocks under our belt. We've got loops, we've got if statements, but today we're going to do a core concept, and this one is so important that it splits over a number of videos, but this is the one that unlocks everything to do with code, creative coding, algorithmic art, and drawing machines. I'm really looking forward to this one. Okay, let's get in.
We are, of course, talking about the numbers, yes, the right one, 0 to 1. So a few videos ago, I said I wanted us to think in terms of millimeters, the dimension of a piece of paper, the thickness of a pen is. So in the physical world, we think in millimeters. But on the code side, I want us to start thinking about these values between 0 and 1, because that's how we start manipulating and moving things around those millimeters on the page. These values are going to be used all the time, so we're going to get real used to them. In future videos, we're going to use them to scale things up, to shrink things down, to work out how far across a piece of paper we are, to break a line into smaller lines. But for this one, we're just going to be talking about randomness, which is deciding if we're going to do something or if we're not going to do something, and then how much we're going to do it. So just to introduce us to 0 to 1 a little bit more, I'm going to show you some of my favorite numbers between 0 and 1. All right, let's do that. 0.25, 0.75, and the absolute all-time classic, 0.5. I suspect we'll be seeing those numbers quite a lot, and here are some other numbers that we're going to see all the time, so we're going to get used to these ones. 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, and 0.8. We'll probably see these quite often too. 0.333 and 0.666. Around there-ish. And while we're here, there's a couple more numbers that are close to these two, which is 0.618033399, which is just a little bit less than that, and then also 0.3183, which is just a little bit less than that, but those are a little bit more esoteric. Now, I'm joking about having favourite numbers between 0 and 1. Apart from maybe 0.707, that's actually quite a good one. But these are numbers we're going to see coming up time and time again, and they are super useful. And we're going to use all the numbers between 0 and 1. And we're going to do that in just a second. But as a quick aside, there are other ranges of numbers we're going to use, and a couple of the more common ones I'll show you, but then we'll get back to our 0, 1. So here we go. This is still the most important one. 0 to 1 is what we're doing now. Sometimes though, we'll be using 0 to 2, which is basically just this one doubled. This one we're going to use a lot, which is -1 all the way to 1, and less often minus 0.5 to 0.5. This is going to become second nature to us. You're going to know this inside out, but you're also going to come across this enough that you're going to understand when to use these different things. Anyway, on to randomness. Just one more thing though. Technically, what we're about to do isn't really 0 to 1. Not all this. 0 to 0.999999999, which is almost, but not quite 1. We don't quite hit 1 when we're using randomness for reasons we'll get to in the future. But for the moment, over to code. The code we're going to do is pretty simple. We're going to use the if statements, the loop statements from before, and we're going to drop in a randomness to choose whether to draw the line or not. And we're going to do this in Node.js, Python, and our index.html, reusing the code that we've done before. So let's switch over to here. So this is the code we had before, which is the head of our SVG. We're going a step of 2 millimeters down. We're starting at 30 millimeters, and this is the bit that's drawing our line. So if we just go down here and run this, we should have a My Design. We drag it over, and we can see there's all the lines that we had before. So let's simply add in, just so I can show you what's going on, console.log math.random. So math is JavaScript and Node.js access to lots of mathematical tools. Random is give us a random number. This is the one that we're going to use. And if I run it down here, let's make this big so we can see. If I run this, I can see all these numbers down here, and it ends in 0.8817 down the bottom here. If we run it again, now it's ending with 0.917. Let's run it again. So each time it's different. So this one down here, 0.007, is pretty close to 0. Let's see if we can find a really high one. This one up here, 0.992, is pretty close to 1. There's probably one somewhere in the middle, 0.55. Here is pretty close to the middle. These two, very close together. That's almost right in the middle between 0 and 1. But this doesn't help us at the moment. It's still drawing all our lines. So let's get rid of that. And then we'll go, if math.random is greater than 0.1, we're going to draw a line. And most of the time it's going to be greater than 0.1. So let's run it, save my design. We drag it over. Most of the lines are there, about 10% of them aren't. If we change this the other way up, if we go, if it's greater than 0.9, let's run it, drag this over. Hardly any lines are appearing there. If we want half of the lines to show up, 0.5, let's run it. About 50% of the lines will be there. Okay, but if you feel more comfortable going the other way, we could say there's a less than 10% chance of things showing up. So it's whichever you feel most comfortable with. And let's say we want about a third of the lines to show up, 0.333. And that means that about a third of the lines will be there. So I'm just going to rename that file lines33, if I could spell. Okay, cool. So I've got that. Let's go over to Python and do the same thing over in Python. Python's doing exactly the same thing. Here's my header, here's my tail, every 2 millimeters, we're looping around there. So first of all, in Python, slightly different, import random. Now that's the library that has lots of tools on it. We're just going to use one. So this is going to look a little bit odd. We'll do the same thing again. So print random.random. And I think I do it like that. Let's switch into Python. Python 3 sample. We'll run it, and then we've got all these numbers again. Same thing, we'll run it a few times. We can see those numbers are changing. Now let's actually put the if statement in there. So if random is less than 0.666, then we'll do that body there. So let's run it. We'll drag over my design. About 2/3 of the lines are there. So I'm just going to rename it to be lines 66. Now, every time we run this, it's going to be slightly different. Now, we could start doing different things like altering the starting position and the ending position, things like that. Let's actually do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about this a little bit. So, Y plus step, we're always adding 2 millimeters to it. But I'm going to do something slightly different, which is now random is going to give us a value between 0 and 1. So if it gives us 0, then step, which is 2 times 0, is going to be 0. If random is 1, we multiply by 2, it's going to be 2. If random is 0.5, multiplied by 2, that's going to be 1. And then all the values in between. So we're going to be adding somewhere between 0 and 2 to Y. But I always want it to be a certain step. So I'm always going to add 0.5 millimeters, half a millimeter to it, no matter what happens. So now we're going to be adding somewhere between half a millimeter and 2.5 millimeters, I think. Let's run it, see what we get. Well, it seems to have worked. We've got a barcode kind of thing going on here. it's being fussy at me. It doesn't like the fact that I'm adding a 0.5, which is not a nice round number, and it's assuming that we're using nice round numbers because it's got 2 up here. If I just change these to be 2.0 and 30.0, now it knows it can add these little fractional numbers to it. And it's fine now. Let's run it again. Okay, drag my design over. Okay, so it's adding a random thing until it gets down to the bottom. Well, that'll be a little bit of fun. Anyway, let's switch to our index.html, which is the same thing. My design, all the way down to here, we have tail, step 2, 30. While we're less than 267 millimeters, we're going to keep doing this body. Exactly the same thing again. So if math.random is less than, let's do half of them, 0.5, no, 0.25. Then we're going to draw this line. Let's drag this index over to here. And we can see we've got 40, 44, 56, 66. So we're skipping a whole bunch of lines. Let's save this. And it's going into my downloads folder. I'm going to drag it in about 25% of my lines. Let's change this to 75. We'll go back and we'll rerun it. Save again. I'll drag this one in. Okay, more lines. Right, let's go plot this. I think you know what it's going to look like, but it'll be kind of fun to do. All right, let's set this recording. Awesome. And then set this away. Decided for fun to go over it again with a second design in green over the top of the blue. I quite like it, and now I'm going to ruin it, but I think I'm going to put red over the top as a third layer, but we've changed the code a little bit. So here's the thing that we've just done where we're adding like a random amount to y, but now I've just tucked this into a if random less than 0.33, so it's now going to draw only 1/3 of the lines as we go down, or like 1/3 of the time actually draw the line. So if we run this again, we should now have this new design here that has still randomly adjusted lines, but fewer of them. And I'm going to put that over the top at the end. There we go. Hold on, let's move it into the light. Here we go. This was the first one we did, where we're just deciding should we have a line or should we not, and that's got even spacing of 2 millimeters between each one. I quite like that. And then here, this is the other one, where we've been adding different amounts to the Y, so it isn't evenly spaced. And I actually kind of really like that, and I think we can do a lot of this using different coloured pens. On the red, there's less red because we decided as we added the Y down here, there was only a 33% chance of actually drawing the line. So we've got these hints of red in here. Well, thank you very much, Benjamin, for all of that plotting. That was a very quick introduction to the numbers 0 to 1 and to random. We're going to be revisiting both of those in the next module. For the rest of this module, we're going to go through loops again a little bit, and then I'm going to show you hidden line removal that will make our life a lot easier. In the whole next module, we'll figure out a better way to display things on the screen, and then revisit 0 to 1 for moving things around and scaling them. We'll get into the meat of it then. I hope that was useful. I'm interested to see what you do with it, and if you do some more things like that. I'm going to plot a whole bunch in a couple of weeks' time for the Patreon members and see if I can get some really nice colour combinations. All right, I will see you in the next video for some loops and drawing squares. Should be fun.